Now we are going to start with uses of water. So you know that water plays a vital role. We discussed that all plants and animals, even the microorganisms, they need water for their survival. So the basic uses of water is, it is used for growing crops. As you know that vegetation is not possible without water, because water is the medium which is going to carry minerals or the nutrients from the soil to the plant. So that means water is very important for growing crops. Second, we know that water is H2O, right? It has hydrogen and oxygen. So it is a source of hydrogen during photosynthesis. As you all know that photosynthesis is very important, because if the plant will carry out photosynthesis, then only it will form the fruits and vegetables, and we are going to feed on those fruits and vegetables. So that means photosynthesis is a, you can say, an important part, because it is a method by which autotrophs prepare their food, and like when the autotrophs prepare their food, then only the heterotrophs will get that. So for photosynthesis we require hydrogen, and water is the basic source of hydrogen during photosynthesis. So it is one of the raw material of the photosynthesis. It is used for drinking purpose. As you all know that we all need water, we feel thirsty, and that thirst can be overcome just by the water. It is used for cooking food also, it is used for bathing also, for washing clothes also, and for many other purposes. And moreover, with the use of water only in hydel power stations and the thermal stations, the power can be generated. And moreover, we discussed in the soil chapter that weathering of rocks is a process by which soil is formed, and weathering is also caused by many factors, and water is also one of the factors. And I think you remember that rocks has certain you can say cracks in it, where the water get traps, and in winter it freezes to ice, and the rocks cannot expand. So it just leads to weathering, that means breaking of bigger rocks into smaller, and finally the soil is formed. So these are the important uses of water that water is serving, that is for vegetation, for photosynthesis, for drinking, cooking food, bathing, washing clothes, power generation in hydel stations and thermal power stations, and also in the weathering process, that is the formation of soil. So as it is doing such important task, because I have listed only few, but there are so many, you know, that processes in which the water is being involved. But there, though it is a natural resource, though it is available in a plenty amount, but you know that still this natural resource is under stress. And you know that what is the factor behind that stress? That is increasing population, increased irrigation and industrialization. Increasing population will directly increase the use of the water. That means if suppose we have a country in which there are only few people, so they will be utilizing water to a less amount. But if we'll have so many people in the country, and they are just you can say dependent on a single source, so obviously with increase in population, that source will get depleted, or you can say that it will be under stress, because everybody is using that water for drinking, clothing, and washing clothes, bathing, and for various other domestic activities we are using water. So that means with increase in population, obviously this natural resource will be under stress. Second is increased irrigation. So what happened, like in traditional, also in traditional, if we talk about the early times, then only you know that due to irrigation, lot of water get wasted. So we need to have certain, you can say, a good technology in which the water should not get waste during irrigation, and the water which we supply is directly used by the plants. That means we can avoid the wastage. But as far as we discussed at this moment, we are discussing at this moment that due to irrigation also a lot of water is getting wasted. Third is industrialization. Now with modernization, you know that we want luxurious items, and for that the industries have been set up, and directly or indirectly our modernization is linked with the industry development. So industries are also making use of water. So the setting up of large industries, again they will just affect the natural resource water. That means they can cause the depletion of our natural resource, and this natural resource can be under stress also. And moreover, with increase in industrialization, or with increase in like thermal power stations, hydel power stations, with increase in many more things which are just utilizing water for as a raw material. So obviously, if we'll have such kind of more setups, so which are based on water directly or indirectly, so they will just deplete the source. So these are the three major factors which are due to which the water, our natural resource, is under stress. So what we can do at this moment, like if we want to cover that stress, there are certain methods, certain you can say steps that still can be done if we want to save our natural resource. That is, we can minimize the use. First thing is that we can minimize the use. Like if you are washing clothes, then just make use of only that much water which is really required by you. And if you are taking a bath, just do not let your taps open, so that we can say that we should avoid wastage. So whenever we are washing anything, or we are washing vegetable, or we are adding water to a food or anything, so we just need that the use should be reduced. I know that we cannot live without water. Everybody wants water to drink, but take that much of water which is really required by you. Don't waste that. So we can actually minimize its use. Second is that improvement in the water economy, that can be done. Third, development of appropriate technology. What does it mean now? Technology here refers to that there should be a proper you can say no wastage should be there. A technology should be there which should avoid the wastage. Like for example, suppose I talk about irrigation. So in irrigation, I told you that in early times much of the water is actually gets waste in irrigation. So you know that we can actually use a better technology, and that is already in use. That is the drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is a method in which the water is directly poured on the root of the plant by the help of sprinklers. So in that case, the loss of water get reduced in that case, and water actually is taken up by that plant, and instead of you can say remaining as a surface water, or so it is actually utilized by the plant. We can do that. Second is the technology involves the desalinization of water also. You know that we get like the water which we get from sea is having a salt. We can make use of, we can have a technology in which we can carry out desalinization of water also. And so that means we can have a technology in which we can actually reuse the water. So we should as I told you, with modernization, so industries, we have so many scientists who are working on different tough tasks. So they can actually you can say think about this also, that how we can actually minimize the use, and we can actually overcome the stress on our natural resource. So we can develop, those scientists, I mean, they can develop a better technology in which we can actually reuse the water, and so that it should be saved. Last is that we can actually reduce the domestic water waste. We have seen that lot of waste, you can say that, as I told you, that the people who are not aware, they just wash clothes in the rivers and all, and they just pollute the water. And you know that even our the river that is our holy river, that is the Ganga, is being that is being polluted. So we need to take certain measures, that we should not throw any kind of garbage into the water bodies, because that is just creating a pollution, and it is just wasting that water. So that means reduction in the domestic water wastage can actually you can say save our water, because we have to avoid throwing garbage or anything into the water bodies, and we can actually make our natural resource water stress free. So I think from today onwards you will try this, and please make your initiative. See, our natural resources are very precious, you all know, and for not for our generation also, it is required for the future generation also. So it is a basic you can say it should be our basic moral, that we should save our natural resource which the nature has given to us for the future generations also. And moreover, like we live on earth, and you know that earth is our planet, so it's our duty to keep our planet, you can say fit for the survival of the life, and that can be only if there will be a natural resource, and out of that water is again a natural resource. So just try to take these steps, whatever you can contribute in this thing. So just start reducing, minimizing the use, and please avoid wastage. This is in your hand, you can do that. So stop polluting water, just make use of that much of water that is required by you, right? So this is all about that, what is the basic use and why the natural resource water is under stress, and moreover how it can be conserved, or what kind of management can be done in order to make our natural resource stress free. Now we are going to discuss about the rainwater harvesting, because our only major source of fresh water is the rainwater. So we will discuss now. So before we start with that, just do it. These things are important because you should be familiar with these things too, right?